Hey folks, in this study, we aim to do a bias analysis on parole hearings that happened in New York Justice Department. Just a little bit of context, parole hearing plays a very crucial role in the criminal justice systems, offering incarcerated individuals the opportunity for early release based on good behavior. These decisions are really crucial for them, even individually, because it significantly impacts individuals' rehabilitation process and integrates them into the society. However, there have been a lot of concerns about potential biases in the parole decision-making process that have been raised. One crucial fact is that in 2018, researchers from Stanford and Oregon University combined together and then requested 15 years of parole data from California's Justice Department. And they did further research on that, and they kind of identified patterns of bias in California parole decisions, but but it was further kind of refused. The whole research was refused by the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and they decided to withdraw the whole data. So it is not public anymore. So in this case, since the data is not public, what I do is even though it's not public, there are still some states which kind of give a little bit of access, for example, like a dashboard which gives you all the information on who are the applicants who are currently uh, aiming for a parole, applied for a parole, and what are their information, for example, like crime, what is their ethnic background, which place they are trying for parole in, all of these information. So what I do is I basically manually scrape all of these informations, and currently I have around 17,000 unique data points. And it is also very easily possible for us to extend this, but I limit it to just this number just to do a proof of concept for this particular project. And the data further goes into a lot of pre-processing steps because it is just directly scraped. We need to take care of a lot of the issues that is inherently present in the data. For example, like missing values, non-values, and we also have categorical variables. For example, race would be described as Asian, black, white, these kind of things. So we'll have to convert that so that we can kind of use it for our kind of probabilistic models. We also do kind of feature engineering on all of these specific features, for example, like data, date fields. So all of these go through these kind of engineering processes. And once we have that, what we are trying to build is a simple logistic regression model where we'll be feeding in all of these features for each of these parallel candidates. And then we would check whether kind of they qualify for parole or not. So that is kind of how it is. And we also have the target label as the parole decision. So we also use basically maximum likelihood estimation when we are trying to build this regression model. We do a lot of other cool things as well in here. For example, feature selection and dimensional regression. Since this is a huge data set, we have a lot of features since we move categorical into one hot encoding as well. And therefore, what we do is we identify this mutual information analysis between these all of these features and also correlation analysis, and then see what are the features that we want to throw away and what are the features that we want to keep so that we can build kind of a better model. We also calculate marginal probability calculation just to make sure whether whatever modeling that we are doing is actually accurate. In conclusion, we did find kind of a pattern of bias, but it is we don't want to give that conclusively because we limited ourselves to kind of basic probabilistic models and smaller data set, still 17,000 data set points. So the future research should focus on expanding this data set and incorporating additional variables. So we can just quickly look at the research, what we got, and out of the basic data set is around 13K from 2022 to 2024, and then the first one kind of gives you feature importance. In here you can see that the top 50 features which has either negative or positive correlation. So the positive correlation you can kind of see that Asian ethnicity gives you kind of a little bit of a boost, and then you can see worse kind of crimes like homicide gives you negative correlation. And we also see that when we compare all of these correlations inside kind of a category in this case, for example, a crime, and then we see kind of for heavy crimes we see negative correlation, and for others we see kind of a positive correlation, which means that all of these kind of make sense. And we also kind of again evaluate feature correlations and mutual information just to make sure that all of these are working same with marginal probabilities as well. So thank you for listening.